Next podcast with Chris and Todd.
All right. So here we are. We are going to talk about the holidays.
Holidays.
You know what? I don't know what kind of guy you are, but when I hear Christmas music before Thanksgiving,
You get a little.
go ahead and shut that down right now.
Wow, you get a little angry about it.
That
huh?
is my threshold. I don't want to listen to holiday music until after the best
I
holiday.
think there's some people who just stopped listening to us.
Flat out disagree with us. I understand that. Listen, if you can't be okay with the pressure of somebody having another opinion,
Yep.
should not be friends with Todd.
There was Christmas music in our at our offices.
Yes.
The day after Halloween.
Yes, it was obnoxious.
It was just like, boom, this is happening.
I went right to my AirPods. I was like, I'm gonna just crank some Red Kid Runner, The Wedding right now, and be okay. Like, was not prepping. And my girls know. My girls sneak them in, but every now and then they'll get one by me, and I'll be like, oh, I totally failed as a dad. But the rule in our house is after Thanksgiving, because I think Thanksgiving is the best holiday.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
Food, football,
and family, man.
and family.
Yeah,
all
mostly
the
food.
F's. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's right. But yeah, it just I like to be intentional with that holiday, and so maybe it doesn't matter, right? But
we are definitely in the holiday season right now.
We are.
I feel like after Halloween, it really all the stores change. Everybody, you may not enjoy that it's starting earlier.
I just avoid Hobby Lobby altogether. Like once July 7th is on, that's like Christmas season for Hobby Lobby.
They start putting out the stuff real early.
That's right.
But I think with this episode, we just wanted to talk through we just kind of put how to holidays. But
Yeah.
it's like, because I don't want to put survive, because that's not always the
No.
case, but sometimes it could be. And the how to thrive in holidays just sounds corny.
It does. I mean, it's not Hallmark movie-esque,
No.
but thriving to drive.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it is important. It's important to give your best. It's important to enjoy and be present in the moment. And granted, some situations you don't get that opportunity. And some holidays are tough because you lost someone or you're dealing with just some really rigid attitudes and people. And how do you do it best? How do you come out of the holidays not just regretting that you had to go through them?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah, looking forward to it, and on top of that, being able to enjoy it, even if it doesn't go perfectly.
yes, you can still talk about politics and have a good holiday.
Yep. And that's would be even like for you, like holidays have changed probably throughout the time that you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times where you were very far away from family.
Yep.
Now you're
Yep.
all your family's here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There is
And we still
plus
leave.
and minuses with all of that.
Yeah, there is.
And so I'm just curious, like, how do you make the holidays meaningful with Thanksgiving, with Christmas, during this time?
Yeah, really. I think growing up, like holidays were always huge on my mom's side. Not that they weren't on my dad's side. We just didn't get together as much, but it really was just a building and a culmination of like, man, this is all about us getting together. And that's just been kind of the premise. Like I have a 96-year-old great aunt, and who knows how long she'll be with us. So we made the commitment, like in our marriage, like after I married, like, well, she's not my great aunt. Well, yeah, by marriage she is. So come on, buckle up, but we spend time with Pearl, and make sure that as many holidays as we have, we get to spend with her. And so we go and it's awesome. We look forward to it, but it really is about connecting with family. And I never thought in a million years had you told me I could be in ministry and have my in-laws here and have my mom and dad here and be able to just in a couple of days, just be able to be together with all of them and still have time for us. It's comforting. It's great for my girls. It's great. It's good for us. And so just keeping that focus of family, even sometimes when you don't see eye to eye. And, sad side story, not sad side story, just side story.
Okay.
Sad snuck in there somehow. I had always envisioned later on, we would always play football. But then I had girls, and my girls don't want to go outside and play football. Last year at Thanksgiving, when we were in Minnesota, all my cousins' kids were outside playing football. And I'm like, There's three all-time quarterback.
Let's go.
Uncle Chris is all-time quarterback. Let's go. And so for the first time in, I don't remember when, I got to play football outside. It was awesome watching those guys just murder each other. And you sit there going, I don't know if I should tell your mom that you just did that to your cousin or not. Like, oh, you're really aggressive.
Hey, you might want to take it easy, Kenny. Like, you just smashed that kid.
Did you bite his ear? What? And,
Stop being Tyson, man.
It's like, it's real special. Yeah.
They're like, who's Tyson? Don't worry about it.
You'll find out sooner or later. Your dad has failed you.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, but that was just a fun moment last year. Just being able to do that with those guys, and just a lot of fun. But yeah, that's kind of the grind of the Sword Outs is family, and now we don't have to travel on Christmas, which is great.
How do you find that balance between, yes, you've got all that time with extended family, but also making moments just for your family?
Yeah. We have just developed some things that we just love to do, whether it's one or two of us grabbing breakfast or going, like, I know it sounds, man, you told me this like a decade ago, like, hey, you're going to spend like Friday after Thanksgiving in the mall. That would have sounded like the worst thing, but that's become like one of the fun things we do. We always take the picture in the Mall of America right outside the Caribou by the escalators. There's the decorative Christmas balls, and we always take a picture right there as a family. And just walking around the mall, going and picking Chick-fil-A or whatever, the girls, we have those traditions that we look forward to, and just having those moments together. We get an Airbnb, and it's just fun. Like, I wish I would have done it sooner, establishing those things that we just know we all love to do, but we also know fondue, and like, what are those things that each of those, it's not just we as a family, but infiltrating those things that each of the kids likes to do makes it that much more meaningful, and being okay with it. Like, it may not be the most fun to like go walk around the mall, but man, if your kids love it, why not make that something that you guys just look forward to, and you can suck it up for a day. Come on.
For my family and I, and for Tina, I mean, I grew up going like, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we were going to go see family. We were going to go. And I grew up in Kansas, and so it was either, hey, we're going to Missouri to go see aunts and uncles, and maybe my grandma and grandpa on my mom's side who are from Arizona, they're going to be in town. We do that. Or we're going to Arkansas to see my dad's side.
That's a bold move, coming from Arizona to Missouri. Like,
they would fly in, that kind of stuff. So it was always like one of the extended families we were going to see. And that was Thanksgiving, that was Christmas, all those kind of things. So I got used to it being like, hey, this is, everybody's here, all those kind of dynamics. But then moving out here and being so far away from family, because, I've got a brother in Michigan, I've got a brother in Kentucky, and then my mom and dad still live in Kansas. So we're very spread out.
Sure.
And then you also got, like, you get married and you got now another family that you're like, hey, how do we, and they live in Chicago, Illinois. And so it's like, man, I don't know how we're going to do all this. And so it was a big adjustment, I think, being out here initially and be like, okay, Thanksgiving just doesn't seem like that's the time we can go away. So we're like, well, okay, if anybody wants to come out and see us, come see us.
Like crickets, like,
and it was like,
what is up?
So I remember kind of dealing like, oh man, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like Thanksgiving is just us. And then turning it into, and this is where I think some of the being willing to adapt in the holidays is so vital, because you're right. Like sometimes you grieve, like maybe you lost somebody, or just circumstances have changed, and you're like, okay, we got to create a new normal. And so for Tina and I, we were like, all right, part of a church, how do we, and someone did it for us, like, hey, come on over to our house.
Absolutely.
We'd love for you to have Thanksgiving with us. And we're like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. But then there's other times where we flipped in like, hey, we're going to have people over. And so it's just been nice to be able to do something that's been more, hey, this is more Friendsgiving, that kind of stuff. And us being able to connect with our church or with people who maybe don't have a place. We go, hey, come do those. And then we also created within that over time being like, okay, the Friday after Thanksgiving, we'll do, we put up the Christmas lights, we do all that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Sometimes you regret that because there's like nice weather before, and then you get to that Friday and you're like, it's a blizzard outside. So
how did that change so rapid?
What is happening? And that's just been our tradition. Our kids look forward to it, all those kind of things. So that's us creating those little moments in there. But then Christmas was interesting because Christmas was that time where like, okay, this is the time for we'll go see family. And so we had to share it every other year. Kind of go in Chicago one year, going to Kansas the other year. And but I remember still like before you would always kind of have family around like that 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a Christmas Eve thing, and Christmas would be a big deal, and then you have time afterwards. But sometimes it felt like after Christmas, it was like, okay, they're gone because we got to get ready for
services.
School. And so now being a pastor, it's funny. I was like, I can't do anything until Christmas Day. I'm sorry. And that's just reality.
Yeah.
And so that was once again an adjustment that I was like, ooh, this is different than what I grew up with. But it's just learning to make it work.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's like, I feel like if I'm honest about the holidays, you let go of some of the sentimental moments. But on the other side of it, you create new moments that are meaningful.
Yeah.
So now our family will have, before we go with the extended, we'll have our own little Christmas one of those days, whether it's the 24th or maybe we'll wake up on the 25th, do some Christmas, have that, and then hit the road kind of deal. And our family gets excited about seeing, but it's just like, okay, how do we still create our own little moments before we
dive into everybody else?
Yeah. And I would say that's critical because I understand extended family, all that can be so awesome and so great. And it's time with cousins, it's time with, your siblings and mom and dad, and it's vital. But I also would say, make sure you're also taking that time just for you and your family. Like for us, being able to open gifts together, read the Christmas story together, and those kind of things. And we even do we'll do cinnamon rolls in the morning.
Sure.
Whatever day we decide.
Heck yeah.
We're doing, and just like cinnamon rolls and egg bakes sometimes. We're like, this is fantastic.
For us, it is. That's the biggest rub, for us and our family. Like the kids are like, I don't want that. Oh, I don't want pancakes again. We have pancakes all the time. Well, let's do monkey bread or caramel rolls. And like two of the six will like it, or four of the six, and you're
That's
like,
always the case,
listen,
right?
Listen, Mrs. Cranky Pants, but it's true. Like finding those things that you love to do as a family, and you can't make, and the part for us that we had to learn, and you do have to learn getting married, don't treat holidays as this is the only day you can have it on, right? Because you have to be adaptable to that. Like we were doing Christmas and Thanksgiving at the same time when Mom and Dad lived here and Wayne and Judy lived here. And, the beauty of them being in the same house is I can sleep in my own bed at night, not in a bed made for somebody that was 5'8" at my mother-in-law's house. There's a whole story that goes along with that.
I was like, that sounds very personal.
Like, oh my word, that was miserable year after year sleeping in a bed that was not made for me.
I would love to see this 5'8" bed.
It was, they put like the rod on the end of it, and you're like, who does that? Like it can't cramping up all night. Anyway, it's funny, but you just learn to go with it, right? But those are still memories, even though you sit back and go, I hate that bed. It's still a memory that makes you laugh, and it's hilarious.
Now, and some of you may be in a spot, and this is hard, where you've had to put up a boundary with family, or you maybe had to. It's not going to be December because we had this issue.
Yeah.
But once again, it's that opportunity to maybe create something new.
Yeah.
And to change it up and to make it, all right, let's create a new tradition or a new dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what's hard about holidays. Is just you want to be together and you have these expectations of how that time should go.
Ooh, nailed it. You have these expectations. Everybody has expectations of how they want it to go and what they think it should look like.
And that would be my biggest, I was going to give advice. Learn to manage your expectations going into the holidays. Too often we go with, I need this to fix something.
Yeah.
Chris and I both know after a Christmas season, we will run into some counseling. Yeah. Counseling will pick up partly because it did not fix the marriage, didn't fix parenting, didn't fix my family issues.
Yeah.
And I go, you got to be careful going into that's going to be the expectation.
Yeah, hoping that just a group outing will fix what needs to happen through a conversation. And again, you talked about expectations. Have expectations. Communicate those expectations clearly. Go in with grace and realize that if you're setting those expectations for the first time, nobody's going to get them right on the first time, And I think hopefully the overall assumption is everyone wants, and I know this is not true, but everyone wants the holiday to go well. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't, and that's tough.
I'll be the first one to admit, like it wasn't like Thanksgiving or Christmas, but I've had those moments. It was a summer family trip, and I thought, oh, okay, this will be great.
Yep.
But we were separated in two different places.
Yeah.
Instead of being in one. And by the end, I hated it.
Yeah.
Like I was frustrated, and I had to be like, ooh, I have expectations with this because it was one of those like, no matter where we went, like the kids could not go to bed to where we would have just that. Because I really enjoy sometimes the adult time, just being able to connect with my brothers, connect with their wives, connect with, you know, my mom and dad, and just us. What would that be? 8 of us being able to just sit there and talk without constant interruptions because we have a lot of children.
You do.
And not just me. My brothers have that too.
Okay.
And so that was like, I caught myself being like, ooh, I'm very upset right now.
Yeah.
And they didn't know why, and it wasn't fair to them. But I was just like, I'm not getting this. And I went, wow, I went pretty strong into this with some expectations that I should have navigated ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so that's the part that I go, it's going to happen. You may have expectations of like, man, I hope this goes well. Like you said, communicate them early, but sometimes it's just not going to go the way you thought it would.
Yep.
And so that's the part you recognize like, wow, why do I have this expectation?
Yeah.
And can I learn to navigate it if it doesn't happen?
Yeah, it's so true. And I just in recent years, since we started ramping up our family vacations, when I have expectations of why I think like I have one coming up this summer. And if we get to go on this, I really have to like temper down what I think, because there's things that I want to show the girls. I want them to experience. And if they don't all happen, they don't all happen. But man, I think because speaking for me, I want this to be awesome. And I think that because I planned it, it's going to be awesome, because you know what I mean? Like we do like, this is going to be great. I've got all these ideas in these places and food and nothing fails. Like my girls know, like we want to find a greasy hole in the wall place to eat. Right. And then we end up at Slim Chickens for stinking chicken strips. And I'm like, right across the street was a 4.7 rated restaurant, and we could have a great greasy burger.
Oh, I could totally see that just eating at you, man. Literally.
I'm just like looking at this restaurant going, we could be right there.
Eating the Slim Chickens with just a anger look on your face.
Stupid
Can't
chickens.
even eat this. Throwing this sandwich down, throwing the tenders around. What is this?
I didn't realize that chicken strips would be the course of my demise. Yeah. Like, why do you love chicken strips so much? And these are miserable chicken strips compared to the
worst. And it's funny how those things can ruin a whole holiday time, vacation time.
And somebody listening right now is like, man, Pastor Chris is the worst. Chicken strips, get over yourself, man.
But we all can say that from the outside.
Yes, absolutely, right?
We all can say that from the outside. And that's where I think being willing to recognize you do have expectations about how you want the holidays to go. And so some of that is, you should plan some things. You should work at creating moments the best you can. But also in the same breath go, even if the moments don't happen, this is still a meaningful time. And it may not go the way I thought it would, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of say, treat the failure in some of that like, all right, we'll maybe get it right the next time. Or, hey, we know how to improve, those kind of things.
I just love it when something crazy happens that you were totally unexpected of, and it turns into something that you just do on a consistent basis, right? Like, oh man, I didn't see that being so awesome, and it is, and now we're going to do it forever, So good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. Like for us, like you talked about it a little bit, like Christmas comes and we lead up, like once Thanksgiving's back, we're gearing up towards Christmas services, and we hope you're there. Christmas services are right around the corner. You're going to have a lot of options to be a part of it. Get your tickets.
Invite people.
Invite someone. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be awesome. So hopefully that's a part of your scenario. We're going to have one on Thursday, and hopefully that will allow you to get there before you go out of town, but travel safe and all those good things. But really looking forward to what Christmas is going to be at Fountain Springs this year. And I think, from what we're hearing and the planning that's gone on, it's going to be pretty exciting stuff. So
yeah. And that's, I think, one of those things. It's like, make it a part of the traditions. Hey, we need to go to church, and maybe you're traveling. Well, hey, we need to go to a service. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about that, experiencing Christmas in a community, in a church dynamic.
Yeah.
I think it's just valuable. You need that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you looking forward to at Thanksgiving? You guys are going to be here. Are you hanging out? You got people coming over?
I think we'll be going to someone's place, or we'll be having people over. It will be awesome.
You realize Thanksgiving's next week, right?
I know.
Like, okay.
Yep. That's how we roll.
You're very non-committal
Yep.
at this point with Thanksgiving right around the corner, man.
Yeah, well, it's more like I think we've invited some people and they're like, hey, let's see where our plans go.
Oh.
Okay, cool. It might be just the 6 of us, and that's all right. But, I mean, we're getting, I traditionally do turkey bowl, so we'll have some flag football. Corbin, my boy, he's getting old enough now.
Yeah.
He's 8. He's like, Dad, can I go? Can I go?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm in that quandary of, well, okay, yes, of course, but I'm also like, you're 8.
I don't want
If
you to
there's-
get demolished.
Yeah, if there's some grown men playing with you. So I've been trying to ask like some of his friends, like if you two can guard each other. Like, so it's been some of those things. So
Dad, nobody's passing us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason.
No, and I love that. I mean, that's a tradition for you, and one that I don't want you to get hurt at this year. Come on.
Well, I know it happens, but I love it. I can't.
Yeah. And I can't wait to, maybe one of these years I'll be here for that, and that'll be fun. But yeah, traveling, it's just, this may be the last year we travel. Like those things that you build anticipation up, and then when they change, you have to readjust and reimagine what it could look like. But that's cool. I'm excited, man.
Yep. Are you staying here for Christmas then?
Christmas, as far as I know. So Rachel and I hit 25 years of marriage right before Christmas.
Look at you.
I know, it's crazy. 25 years of ministry, 25 years of marriage. It's kind of nuts. And so I've been trying to decide, could we sneak away for a couple days after services are over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but as of right now, our plan is, I think, to be here.
Good.
But there's always hope of something fun to do.
We'll spend a little time. We'll go see my side of the family. So it'll be good. We'll love it. But we just hope your holidays are meaningful and whatever expectations you may need to navigate or new traditions you start. Hey, may God bless you in those times.
Yeah, have a great one and enjoy the holidays. Man, they only come once a year.
Yeah.
Come on, get after it.
Let's go.
So we'll see you next time.